Cade Cunningham is finally reaching his potential. After years of injury problems and the Detroit front office having not a very good product to put out around Cade, now that the pieces are all starting to fit together, Cade is reaching what this team was hoping for when they drafted him #1 overall. And even in the last few games, Cade has really started to fix some of his biggest issues. And we're going to look into that and figure out what has made Cade so special this year. And I think the first and most important thing to talk about now is his reducing the turnovers in these last few games. And let's get right into it. Now, I know what you may be thinking, but Emster, this is about what he's been doing to become even better. But I think the best thing he's been doing to make himself a better player is reducing some of these turnovers. Stuff like this you'll see, right? Like, this is just sort of a goofy play situation that you ended up with, right? But I think that was sort of an issue that was exemplified throughout the season. With at times, last year, Cade's handle would become a little loose, and then the ball is just sort of out there and it's hitting off of other players, and then things get kind of messy. And it was a very legitimate turnover problem. Like, this, quite frankly, is an effort thing. Like, I'm not saying he's a low effort player, let me make that clear, but that's where you got to go fight for that ball, right? I have respect to that, at least that he gave something on the defensive end, but again, now you're in a tight quarter game, you get the collapse and you go off center and Duncan Robinson sort of all over the place, and part of this is the spacing, right? Like, you have to be able to support your player. Like, the dude's getting doubled, and I mean, you got this guy all the way over here. You ain't gonna get there. Duncan probably should have ran towards Cade. So I also want to make that clear. Some of these turnovers, like when you look at the tape, you're not necessarily always gonna go out of your way and go, yeah, this is because of Cade. No, I don't think so. Like, a moment like this, you didn't need to do all this, in my opinion. Like, just have faith in yourself to go and take it up. You're going downhill. You have KD there. At worst, Duncan Robinson is trailing, but then you go for this Thompson, oop, and it's just some of the decision-making at times for Cade was looking a little suspect. But then you look at the most recent stretch, and things start to look a little bit brighter, and let's look into that. Even if we look at a play like this is the only turnover, by the way, this entire Dallas game, right? And Cade's a high, usage player. The ball's in his hands, right? So he does a great job here defensively, starts to run down. All right, he's got Coop. This is just an unnecessary kind of pass, right? And these are the sort of mistakes that I think are why you're starting to see less of them, right? Because some of these are just poor decision-making, quite frankly. Like, some of these decisions are just not in the best interest of the team. But again, if you look over the last few games from Cade, the dude's had either a game with no turnovers or as high as 3, which, considering the high volume and the assists he's getting in those games, is far, far more acceptable than the 7 to 8 that he was normally getting, not only at the beginning of this year, but from before. And now I want to get into Cade the scorer, because this dude has been Mr. Fourth Quarter, and it's been incredible to see. Cade Cunningham statistically has probably been the best fourth quarter player in the NBA. If you take a look here at this graph I'm going to pull up, this is just the traditional stats of, fourth quarter play. And in terms of actual games and minutes played, Cade is looking unstoppable, right? 40% from 3, no, barely, like 0.2 turnovers. So he's not turning the ball over in clutch, right? And I just love the way that he's been able to fill the lane. And just the way that he's been able to play in general has just helped this team so much, right? Like, he's just been going downhill, getting the float, right? He's forcing the team to have to adjust to his play defensively. And I love to, he'll just take some of these threes. I think the way that Cade's been playing in the fourth has been the way he needs to be, not through all 4, because that's just hard to maintain. And I, quite frankly, don't think Cade is that caliber of player. That is a Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Giannis level performer, right? Like, that's hard to maintain. But if he could maintain even a semblance to this full time, this Detroit team in an injured East could make some real moves, right? And I think what we're seeing from these clips is just the ability that, he has to manipulate space on the floor to then take advantage of size and just the way that everyone's playing around him. Then you have to do stuff like this. And I love this play in the space, and Cade just, this is what I was talking about earlier. This play actually exemplifies what I think Cade's done significantly better. Go into the lane, right? Now, this is a tough shot, by the way, by Cade, no doubt. But if we were looking at the Cade film from just the first few games, I could have anticipated Cade does some ugly behind the back, like sham god pass to be like, oh, we got him. But instead, he just goes, no, I'm Cade Cunningham. I can take this bucket and I can get us, those points. It's just simple. I think when Cade plays confident and aggressive, and he just really doesn't overthink it or try to do too much in terms of, make some crazy pass for a highlight reel. Not saying that he's actively hunting for that, but you know what I'm saying. Just look at these makes. Like, this is how you want someone like Cade to play, because he can create for others so well off the drive, because he can then force the defense to go and guard him at the level. And then he's going to hit shots like this. And that's just where his game can go to the upper level. So as a scorer, I think Cade is showing legitimate potential here to take over the league, just in terms of he can get those numbers up. And maybe he doesn't even have to in the regular season with this Pistons team, but I love the confidence that Cade Cunningham is playing with. Then, of course, we have to talk about Cade, the playmaker. I mean, his playmaking has been really, really good. He's always been a good passer playmaker. That's what part of his biggest hype was coming out of Oklahoma State, was that he had that Luka Doncic-esque style of play. And he's showing stuff like this, and I love the manipulation of space. That's where I think Cade's actually really, really fun to watch. It's watching him manipulate the defense and the floor to create alleys and avenues, right? Franz just sort of goes here, and this is probably on Franz, right, for not coming over in time. Goga doesn't catch it and just gets it down to my boy Beef Stew for the easy slam, right? And again, just manipulates the defense through the screens, waits, and again, this is how you want to get the pass through. Don't do it with all this bounce, and you just get it right to him so he can catch it, go down, and immediately it's right back up to get the slam. That is how you want to play, right? I love this off-screen set here, by the way, with Duren. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I just realized how bright that pause made it. But I love, right? Duren goes here for the roll. Now Goga shrinks, Paolo shrinks, because there's a chance that not only would he take the chance at this pass, but he probably would. But instead, right, just gets it out of that corner, man. Paolo doesn't really get a hand up and is able to just get a piece. And that's where I think Cade is really like taking his game and exemplifying its pros, right? Like, even there, right? Just get it up to Toby, let someone else make the play for you. I think basically what I'm seeing from Cade is I'm loving transition play with him. I'm liking the way that he manipulates, the defenses with the pick and roll action. I really do think that Cade is showing legitimate star to superstar potential now. Because I did think the turnover problem was a big deal for me, but we're going to get into that here in a second. And we will then talk about what I truly think Cade Cunningham is at this point and what he can be. But even now, let's just take one more look. This play is beautiful to me. Just waits over to Duncan. And that, to me, that's still smart basketball. Because, again, the teams, when he shrinks, everyone goes, oh, he's just going to give it to Duren, because that's something he would do. Instead, he gets it all the way out on a string to Duncan Robinson for the 3-ball. Like, that to me is excellent hoops and showing that Cade Cunningham has that high IQ. It's just at times he chooses the worst play. And I think now that his shot selection and pass selection is significantly improving. But now let's talk about what I think of Cade as a player overall. I'm going to start this part by being very, honest and upfront. I was not very high on Cade Cunningham. Not necessarily coming out of college or anything. I'm not, I'm starting to watch more about college so I can make good draft videos and stuff for you guys, but that wasn't necessarily my knowledge pool. But then, Cade's gotten hurt however many times, and even last year he had that turnover problem that concerned me a lot, because in that playoff series against the Knicks, right, the handle was kind of exposed. You could pick around it. He was struggling to get to his shot. Maybe some of these struggles are going to return a little bit. I am not here to tell you guys that all of the issues with Cade Cunningham as a basketball player are fixed. Otherwise, he would basically be Luka Doncic. I see in this guy legitimate star potential. Do I know if he's good enough to be a number one on a championship winning team? I'm not personally too sure about that yet. I am more open to hearing it now with some of the play that I have seen. Now, again, is it guaranteed he's going to be that? No. There's a chance that for the next 3 games, he's got another, 6+ turnovers a game. And maybe, defenses adapt again. But I think if you're Cade, I want you to continue to manipulate the defenses and not play into them. Some of these passes that we saw in that, playmaking section of this video defenses anticipated Cade to play a certain way. And because he then adapted, now the turnovers are going down. If you continue to adapt and make it harder for teams to scheme against you as a playmaker and a passer, your scoring is going to increase. You're going to get up to about 27, 28 points a game because teams then are going to concede some of these drives. They're going to concede, once in a while, an open three. Like some of these things that are going to contribute to you being even better on paper and to the eye test. I think Cade Cunningham is starting to show legitimate signs of, something special. And I'm sure Pistons fans in the comments are going to say they've already seen it and it's already been there. That's fine. But I have no problem admitting I'm late to the party. But let me know what you guys think of Cade. Do you think this recent stretch is maintainable? Not necessarily in terms of, efficiencies or whatnot, but, the low turnover basketball, the higher, just honestly, the adaptability he's showing. Is this maintainable to you guys? As always, this was Mr. No Soups. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all so much for the love on the Giddy video, man. It means a lot. And as always, this was Mr. No Soups. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.